Here we are with another video, and in this video I will be talking about Richard Pryor. Now you all know I like to give a brief intro before I go in deep, so here we go. Richard Franklin Lennox Thomas Pryor was born on December 1st, 1940 in Peoria, Illinois to Gertrude L. Thomas, who was an alcoholic and a prostitute, and father Leroy Buck Cater Pryor, who was a boxer and a hustler. Because of this, he was raised by his grandmother, Marie Carter, who used to beat him for any reason. He was also sexually abused at the age of 7 years old. Because of this, he was expelled from school at the age of 14 years old. Now, because of his troubled childhood, he became a Freemason to get some kind of brotherhood. Also, for some stability and also to escape, he joined the army between 1958 and 1960. But while there, he spent in an army prison. It seems that Pryor was incarcerated for an incident that occurred while he was stationed in West Germany. He angered a white soldier who was overly amused at a racially charged scene of Douglas Sirk's film Imitation of Life. However, Pryor and several other black soldiers beat and stabbed, though not fatally. Oh yes, it was in 1963, whereas he started performing in clubs alongside Bob Dylan and Woody Allen. One of his first nights he had opened for singer Nina Simone. But it has been noted that he used to get serious performance anxiety. He would sweat and shiver, and some of the other acts had to put their arms around him to calm him down. From there, he took off and was asked to appear on shows such as Ed Sullivan Show, Merv Griffin Show, and so on. It was in 1967 whereas he was invited to Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas, and upon going on stage with Dean Martin, he looked at the sold-out audience and said, "What the fuck am I doing here?" and walked off stage. It was then whereas he started adding profanity to his stand-up and also the word. It was during the success whereas his mother and father died, and I will talk about that later. But 1969, he moved to Berkeley, California, where he was hanging with Huey P. Newton and Ishmael Reed. Then from there he started appearing in many TV shows and he received an Emmy, and from there he broke into movies and he appeared in Lady Sing the Blues, The Mac, and many more. From there he was offered million-dollar contracts and did several tours and comedy skits. He especially became popular because of his constant use of However, it was after his trip to Africa whereas he vowed to never use that word again. He also did several movies with Gene Wilder and many others. He also won 5 Grammys and many other awards. He was also married 6 times, twice by 2, and he had 7 children. Let's get dark. Yes, Richard Pryor was funny, and he had a trashy mouth, and also the source of the starting use of the slang that many rappers and more still use to this day. But it wasn't just that, it was also his many marriages. Richard was married 6 times, twice by 2 different women. First being Patricia Price from 1960 to 1961. Second being with Shelley R. Bonus from 1967 to 1969. Third being Deborah McGuire from 1977 to 1978. Fourth being Jennifer Lee from 1981 to 1982. Fifth being Flynn Belaine from 1986 to 1987, and again from 1990 to 1991. Seventh being Jennifer Lee again in 2001 till his death. Now, truth be told, he was very violent to many of them. He cheated on many of them, and that's why they never lasted. Heck, it was even reported that he used to show up high and strung out on drugs at the wedding after having orgies with some of the most top elite members, including Gene Wilder. Oh yes. Oh, I didn't mention his many love affairs with other stars, like with Pam Grier, who stated that Richard and she broke up because of his cocaine use, and that had led to a dangerous buildup of the drug in her. Oh yes, and I didn't misquote that. This is what happened. It seems that Richard used to dip his penis into cocaine to retain an erection, and of course some of that got into her cervix and mouth, and it used to cause her mouth to go numb. I know, sick and disgusting. Now, I stated before Richard had a troubled childhood. Now, because of this and his constant exposure to drugs, and not to mention the demons in his head, with all of this in mind, while he was on the set of Stir Crazy. And of course, during his freebasing cocaine days, Richard poured 151 proof rum over himself and then lit himself on fire. While ablaze, he ran down the street from his Los Angeles home until being caught by police. He was then taken to the hospital where he was treated for second and third degree burns covering more than half of his body. He spent 6 weeks in recovery at the Roseman Burn Center of Sherman Oaks Hospital, where he was bout of drug-induced psychosis. After recovery, he stopped being a stand-up and started doing more movies with million-dollar contracts still. It was during this success whereas he developed a reputation for being disrespectful on film sets and making selfish and difficult requests. It has been noted from Gene Wilder that Richard used to be frequently late to the set during the film of Stir Crazy, and that he demanded drastic things such as a helicopter to fly him to and from the set. Richard would also use racism to receive more money, but do note this is coming from Gene Wilder. Now, because of his constant paranoia, he once accused racism one day, whereas watermelon was given out to everyone on set, and after eating it, they threw it in the air like a frisbee, and one landed at Richard's feet. He immediately got up and walked out of film production, and of course, the dude that threw it at his feet was fired. That is when Richard decided to return to the set. He was later diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and was detained to a mobile scooter that had also made his voice disappear. Oh yes, that wasn't the ending of his health shortly before he died. Before then, he had suffered a heart attack from all the smoking and drinking. That is also how he died. He suffered another heart attack and later died at the hospital, and his wife stated that he died with a smile on his face. He was stated that the heart attack was due to coronary artery disease that was brought on by years of cigarette smoking. Oh yes, now let's get darker. Okay, you all remember what I said about his parents dying prior to his career taking off. It was also shortly after of him becoming a Freemason. Now, I know several Freemasons, believe it or not, they even tried to get my husband to join, but he didn't like the procedure in which he had to undertake to get initiated, such as the stripping naked and being blindfolded, not to mention the drunken parties and secret gatherings they had. But this reminds me of Richard and all that he had to sacrifice to achieve the questionable success, especially in the time frame in which he had achieved it. Then, with the mixture of that and all of his drug using caused him to go crazy. But even with all of his flaws and mishaps, he broke many barriers and opened many doors for many who came after him. So with that being said, we love you, Richard Pryor, and you are truly missed. Rest in peace. Well, that's it, and tell me what you all think below, and also don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and also don't forget to follow my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I post on them every day. Hope to see you all there. Love you all.